hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that Scuba Radio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for Scuba Radio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me.
Thanks for not changing the door code.
Yes. Well, I figured, you came wearing a Scuba Radio T-shirt today, so I figured, well, let them in.
Oh, you were surveilling
One
me.
more time. Of course.
I thought that camera
We
was
have
on.
high security here at Scuba Radio headquarters.
So if I wasn't wearing my Scuba Radio shirt, you wouldn't let me in?
Correct. You are correct, sir. And that's why you don't see Jerry the Diver Guy or Vinny Two Tanks in the studio as well. They're only connected virtually via the web.
They're also not in this state right now.
Well, there's that. But, we do have them as part of the Scuba Radio Scuba Squad, and they are connected. But we prefer it this way.
Hell,
Don't you?
Vinny's in a totally separate time zone.
And, the thing is, he can reside in his home residence via the web. And he can wear whatever or as little as he prefers. Right, Vinny?
That's true.
That is true.
But today I've got my Explorer Adventures shirt on.
That's right, because it's Super Bowl weekend, and we got to talk about the Super Bowl of dive destinations. Because the timing is definitely conducive for this discussion today, because I have been working with Explorer Ventures this week, trying to lock in a couple big trips for the year. And I keep having some issues, but we're getting close to possibly doing a week in the Galapagos.
You've got a lot of issues.
What?
I'm no professional to diagnose you, but I would imagine you have a lot of issues.
All right, you just be quiet.
You're talking about scheduling issues.
Yes.
I agree with you, CJ.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Yeah. Now we got a real doctor on staff. Dr. Doug Ebersol is prepared to jump in at any moment and shut both of you down.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Yes. Well,
He will probably agree with us.
no, he will not. He will side with me every time, as he's a good friend.
We're going to need a second opinion.
No, let's just leave it lie and talk about the dive destinations that we think are at the top. And I think I mentioned one of them. I mean, I'm trying to set it up to get over to the Galapagos again. And Dr. Doug Ebersol's been there. How many times have you been to the Galapagos? You figured, Dr. Doug?
I've only been there one time.
One time. How long ago, you figure?
10 years ago, maybe.
All right.
Like that.
Okay. It's been
I was
over.
hoping to get back there with you, but as we talked, that unfortunately not going to work out. But I'd love to get back there.
Well, we'll see. We're still trying to work it out. But yeah, I talked to Dr. Doug about going out to the Galapagos, and we're trying to figure this out. Explorer Ventures has two boats: the Tiburon Explorer and the Humboldt Explorer.
How many times have you been to Galapagos?
Once. And and the thing is, to me, the Galapagos Islands, it's a totally different type of diving. And by the way, Jerry's never been, Vinny's never been, right? Just shake your head.
Correct. Never.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And I would tell you, in all my years of diving, doing this show for 26 years, that week I did with Explorer Ventures in the Galapagos was by far the most extreme, intense, the biggest underwater adventure I've ever had in my entire dive life. I mean, I call it the Everest of diving. And Dr. Doug, he's done a lot of exotic type stuff. Would you put it right up there too, Dr. Doug, or what would you say?
Yeah,
about the Galapagos?
With the remoteness, the water can be a little cold. The currents are strong. There's down currents.
Yeah.
big animals. Yeah, it's extreme diving. It's not something for somebody to do, as soon as they finish their open water course. That's for sure.
Exactly. When they give you your own personal locating device, this is serious, because I'll never forget it. The briefing was very interesting. It says, "Look, we are your dive guides. All the dives we do on this week are going to be guided, and we've been here for many years, and we know the area quite well. But we are dive guides. We are not dive babysitters. And if you get separated from the group, if you don't dive with the group on this drift dive that we're going to do it because the currents are nuts, we're not going to come get you. You're on your own." And that's what that personal locating device is for. And so we can find you if you get separated. So basically, Jerry, don't lose the guy. Don't lose. You got to follow the leader. You got to follow the man with the flag. Actually, I don't even think they use flags because they're usually underwater.
No.
But you got to stay with the dive leader. And if you lose them, it's on you. It's on nobody else.
I was with the leaders, but you all run off and left me.
Wrong.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you did. Y'all just kept swimming.
He got lobster fever, and he lost the guy who was leading the dive. That's fine. It happens. But you can't let that happen in the Galapagos because it's extreme. I mean, the currents are nuts. We had one dive site called the Washing Machine, and it's kind of odd. It's probably one of the only trips I've ever done in all my dive life that I literally remember every single dive practically we did on this trip. It was that extreme. And so, yeah, it's the diving's a little challenging. It's not, it's not hard, I would say. You just want to have plenty of experience. You want to be comfortable in the water. And, it's not for the faint of heart.
It can't be that hard if you did it.
Well, right.
Sure
yeah, right. Right. Cock Johnson. Yeah. And, but, it's not hard. It's more like, it's just, you gotta keep your wits about you, and you gotta understand.
Well, I'm out.
Well, yeah, you gotta understand that nobody's going to come save you if you get separated. You gotta, be cool in that kind of situation, and they'll find you. You got your personal locator beacon and that kind of thing. But it's not hard. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's just you gotta keep a cool head.
So you know what to expect.
Yeah, and as Dr. Doug said, it can be a little on the chilly side. And I think last time I went, it was at the ebb of, or in between seasons. So like they have a warm season, dry season, and then they have a wet, colder season. And we're right at the breaking point, and it kind of leaned towards the colder water for me. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But we were getting temperatures as low as like 60, and I was like, whew, I was dying. And
are you going to take your dry suit?
If I go to the Galapagos this year, I think I'm definitely going to get certified in a dry suit before I go and do it that way. Even though, one of the weeks we're looking at, I believe, will be more on the warmer side of things, but still, I think that's what it was last time I went.
62.
Yeah. And that was still way too cold for me. So I'm going to get certified in a dry suit. I'll get a brand new one. And maybe Dr. Doug will help me get certified in that. But by the way, what a course in a dry suit, how long does it take? You just go out and dive and kind of get orientated, Dr. Doug, or do you got to do some book work and all kinds of stuff, or what?
There's some online academics and then a couple of dives. And the main thing is getting comfortable running the dry suit and how to get out of things if you end up inverted and coming to the surface, that kind of stuff, how to dump the dry suit, all that sort of thing. Pretty easy, just a couple of dives.
Yeah. Yeah,
just some experience before you go.
Right.
You can only flood. If your suit floods, you ain't coming back.
Well, there's that, but the main problem is if you get air in your feet and you get inverted, like you said, how do you get out of that mess? Because you're floating upside down and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I want my head to poke out of the out on the surface, not my feet. That's what you want to avoid when you're doing a dry suit, I think. But they teach you that. There's all kinds of techniques. I've done a little bit of it. I just haven't got properly certified yet, but it's going to happen. All right, more coming up on the Super Bowl of dive destinations. Next, stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of ScubaRadio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures ScubaRadio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Does diving in the Florida Keys for free sound too good to be true? It's not. Dive to make a difference and clean our seas in the second annual Trash Derby Dives, May 2nd through 5th. Sponsored by iCare and the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation. Win big prizes for bringing up the most trash. Free spots with dive operators from Key Largo to Key West are available now. Get details and sign up at iCareTrashDerby.com. Brought to you by the Monroe County Tourist Development Council.
Do you have a message or a product that you'd like to share with the diving world? Well, look no further than ScubaRadio. Just like you, thousands of diving enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to ScubaRadio.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with ScubaRadio. ScubaRadio. The world's first radio show devoted to diving. ScubaRadio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Hello, this is Koji. I'm a diver, originally from the land of the rising sun. But now, America, my home. You are listening to Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Run! It's Godzilla!
Now, here is someone considered by many to be the Godzilla of diving. Greg, the dive master, coming Tokyo.
All right. Thank you, Koji. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg, the dive master. CJ's in the studio with me. We're talking about the Super Bowl of dive destinations, mentioned the Galapagos, and it's because it really is, to me, probably top of the top when it comes to adventure diving, for sure.
I got one for the list.
Yeah?
Since I just heard that.
Right.
Speaking of Japan, I don't know if it's as good as it looks online, but have you seen, like, video and pictures of Okinawa? Some of the diving in Japan just looks really cool.
I bet it is. I bet it's pretty awesome. It's not on the list for me this year, though. But someday, and I don't know if it ranks up there, like that. But I'm sure it's on some people's list.
I bet Koji's dove it.
We're going to have him on and maybe share.
I don't know how
his
close
thoughts.
it is, but I know he goes to Tokyo quite a bit.
He does. He's probably going to be in Miami this coming week because we got a big Miami International Boat Show going on.
Well, ask him.
I'll ask him. What do you think there, Koji?
Japan, and is it as good as it looks?
Yeah. So, that would make sense. Definitely something to look into.
Report back to me.
Okay. So we got, Galapagos. We're doing that liveaboard trip, and I'm trying to do a Turks and Caicos trip too. Those are the 2 week-long Explore Venture trips that we're trying to lock in right now. And hopefully, maybe by next week or the week after, we'll have those dates for you to share. And if you want to join us, you can join us and or avoid us at all costs. It kind of depends on your perspective. But, I've been talking about this for a while. We've been working on this. And, it's interesting. We get emails, we get voicemails during the week, and you remember Tank, who last time we spoke to Tank, he was working at an adult entertainment complex.
Well, the polite word would be like a gentleman's club.
A gentleman's club, that's right. Exotic entertainment, as they say, for adults. And I got a very interesting voicemail from him this week because he's evidently transferred.
He was in New Orleans, wasn't he?
He was in New Orleans running a club, and I guess
we just missed him. We didn't know.
Right, but the drunken Santa had spoken with him a little bit, and I don't know, maybe they got to talking, but evidently he's opened up a dive shop down in South Florida or
no
something.
Kidding.
Yeah, and he's running trips and all this kind of stuff. So
maybe you can hook up with him when you're down there.
I don't know. Well, I'm going to play you this voicemail, and then we'll decide how we should handle it. Here you go.
Greg, it's your old buddy Tank. Remember back in the day I used to DJ at the Pink Pussy? Cat? Good times.
Right.
These days I have a dive shop in the Turks and Caicos.
Oh.
I heard on your show you're planning to come. Oh, hell yeah. I think the last time you were down here, my shop was called the Slippery Eel. But some Karen with a stick up her ass complained.
What?
So I had to come up with a new name. And now I'm pleased to announce the opening of the Brown Starfish Dive Shop. Oh, hell yeah. Any vendors listening, bang the back door for deliveries. For your crew, Greg, we can get you special airfill rates. $5 gets you 2 tanks, guys.
Oh.
$5 gets you 2. And here at the Brown Starfish, we run a tight ship. Oh, hell yeah. My captain, we call him the little man in the boat. We'll take you to get up close and personal to our famous dive spots here in the Turks and Caicos. First up is the very, very hard to find G-Spot.
Oh.
A favorite of the ladies. Next up is a little tricky to get to, but we like to motorboat the Double D.
What?
Oh, hell yeah. And finally, the last time of the day, we'll take you muff divers to go deep in the crack. Be safe and don't get bent. Oh, hell yeah. So guys, grab your hoses and come on down. And remember, Greg, it's always better down where it's wetter. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, brother. You know what?
You
I
can
thought
take
it was
the guy out of the DJ booth, but can't take the DJ out of the guy.
Yeah, I thought it was South Florida, but evidently he's actually in the Turks and Caicos. And all those dive sites he mentioned, I'm very familiar with.
The crack.
What?
G-Spot, Double D. G-Spot and Double
so those
D.
are real.
Yeah, in French Key. That's part of the itinerary when you go out in the Turks and Caicos on the liveaboard. No. He knows
I think we should go visit Tank.
Well, I mean, that could be arranged. Like I said, I've been talking to Explore Ventures about heading out there again for a week in the Turks and Caicos, and I don't know if we want to be able to
extend your stay or go a week early.
Well, we might end up extending our stay if we interact.
What we ought to
them.
do is relive the time we were there and we stayed in the all-inclusive for a week before we dove.
Well, that was that Turks and Caicos?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. That was St. Martin.
Saba St. Kitts.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was fun. We stayed
that
at
was
the resort.
fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
My feeling is we probably want to avoid any interaction with Tank if we go to Turks and Caicos because that extended stay would probably likely be in jail.
Oh.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's operating a dive business on the up and up.
Don't post anything. That seems like it'd be kind of hard to explain to your wife.
Yeah, it would be tough. But hey, it is what it is, and that's what happens sometimes. We get these
no recording, no flash photography,
strange requests or updates. I mean, I wish him the best.
I mean, you put yourself out there, he's going to find you.
Well, there's that. He
must listen.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, how'd you like to dive? Oh, you dive an ice hole.
Yes.
Ice hole.
Ice hole. Okay.
You want to dive an ice hole? That's what I said.
A nice hole?
No, ice hole. The 7th annual Ice Hole Festival is going on in Iowa this weekend.
Iowa.
And we're going to get a first-hand report.
Talk about dry suits.
Well,
Holy moly.
Yeah. So we're going to get a report live from the ice hole.
Who's there?
all the divers in
No,
Iowa.
but who do we know?
A guy named Rob from Independent
Rob.
Scuba. Yeah, Rob.
There's
I bet she's going to say it's cold and freezing.
Okay, but you're not there. You're not there, Jerry.
I'm not there, but I guarantee it's cold and the water's
February.
freezing.
It's Iowa.
Yeah, but how many
ice?
We got to find out what it's like by the ice hole. You'd like to dive in an ice hole, wouldn't you?
If there's ice, it's got to be cold.
Jerry says yes, and so does Vinny. So we're going to do that next on the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Just 9 degrees north of the equator lies a cluster of islands that stretch for 600 miles in the Pacific Ocean. Yap, the land of stone money, provides a level of marine biodiversity, culture, history, people, and natural beauty that'll leave you in awe. With miles of unspoiled reefs and very few visitors, divers will enjoy having an entire reef to themselves. Plus, Yap's world-famous resident population of manta rays make for a bucket list dive experience that's great year-round. Plan your visit to Yap now by going to visityap.com. That's visityap.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater. Dive computers for demanding divers.
Scuba Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Okay, so you guys don't watch the news. What do you do?
I do a lot of Dateline. I love it. Husbands murdering their wives. Happens a lot on vacation. Scuba diving. They'll just unplug her oxygen while she's underwater. Happens more than you think.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. Scuba Radio, Scuba Squad connected via the web. Jerry the Diver Guy, Vinny Two Tanks. Dr. Doug Ebersol with us as well. We have a certified doctor on standby for reasons that, even talking about diving an ice hole is tricky. And you probably should have a professional on standby.
Sounds like you need a proctologist.
Or a speech therapist.
Something.
Could be that, because you got to be very careful when you're talking about diving ice holes. Because, we got a special guest. We're going to get a live report from the 7th Annual Ice Hole Festival in Iowa.
And it's going to sound like this. Greg, it's...
That's your prediction.
Freezing.
It could be. I don't know. But I think it'd be pretty fun. If you're in a dry suit, how bad could it be? I mean, Dr. Doug, have you ever done any of that? Have you ever dove, in a lake through a hole in the ice or anything like that, or no?
Yeah, I'm certified ice diver.
Yeah.
I did it. It was kind of a one and done course for me. I did it just for the experience and to learn how to do it. It's cold.
It is cold.
It's cold. Yeah, it's cold.
But the dry suit makes it manageable, doesn't it?
It's cold.
Okay.
It depends on how good your undergarments are and how good your dry gloves are and how thick your hood is. We were like in a 15 mil hood, dry gloves, thick undergarments, and by 30 minutes or so, it was getting pretty chilly.
Yeah.
So it's doable, but I did it more, like I said, more just to see kind of what the environment was like, how you do it safely, and kind of learn the techniques and so forth. So for me, it's a one and done.
I gotcha. You marked it off the list, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think, Vinny? Have you done this, or you want to do it? You want to dive in an ice hole?
I'd be afraid of getting a leak and freezing my
Your
body
ice
parts.
hole? Maybe. Yeah, Jerry the diver
I-
guy would. He'd do it, wouldn't he?
No,
Vinny?
we're all warm water wusses like you. Come on.
Well, that's true. But even I think it's something I want to mark off the list someday. You know, they do some nutty stuff when they once you get in the water. I mean, they've had they do upside down hockey games and cut 2 holes in the ice, and that's the goal.
That sounds advanced.
What do you mean?
You'd have to be upside down.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would just in the dry suit. This is actually where you could do some training, I guess. You can get inverted on purpose in your dry suit, and then you use that to your advantage and have upside down hockey games. Have you ever
So you
seen
need
that?
what, like a floating puck to keep it up on the ice?
Well, I think it would puck would float anyway, wouldn't it? I think it would. I don't think it would sink.
No, they sink.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, we used to catch them we used to throw them in the pool in the summertime.
Yeah.
And go dive down
All
and
right.
get them.
Well, you're crazy.
In the summer.
Oh, that's right. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, but you're still crazy.
But they sink.
Oh, if you say so.
Regular puck.
Well, you can get a floating puck. I mean, how hard can that be?
I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, it is something. It's a thing they do. Now, I don't know if they're
you're
doing
a floating puck.
I quit it. I don't know if they're doing any of that at the Ice Hole Challenge, but we'll have to ask them. You know, once they get them underwater. I mean, I know one of the things they're doing is exactly what Dr. Doug has done, where you get they bring in a bunch of divers and get them certified in ice diving, or instructors, I believe. So we'll talk to them in just a bit. Dr. Doug, what were you doing this week over in the Springs, though? Because I had talked to you this week, and you were doing classes like all week. Was that the deal, or what?
Yeah, I had 2 things going on. I had a rebreather cave diving class for a guy who's very experienced KISS rebreather diver, trimix diver, and wanted to do CCR caves. That's about a 6 to 7 day course. The minimum is something like 10 dives at 600 minutes underwater. We did something like 12 or 13 dives in about, I don't know, maybe 14, 15 hours underwater.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of skills and diving multiple locations and so forth. So that's kind of how I spent the last week. So I was in a dry suit a lot. We were doing, I think our longest dive was about 2 hours. Most of the dives were probably between 90 minutes and 2 hours.
Yeah.
We were doing a couple of dives a day.
Well, in the spring is like 72, 74, right? So
71, 72, yeah, something like that.
So are you getting cold after that much time, or not really, because it's dry suit?
Not too bad. By 2 hours, when you're swimming, obviously it's not a big deal. The most we had was maybe 20 minutes of deco or so. And when you're sitting perfectly still, for 20 minutes doing nothing, and you've been in the water for, almost 2 hours, you may start to get a little chilled at the end, but nothing right home about. Nothing
Yeah.
where we're shivering. Just so you
Right.
can kind of notice it a little bit.
Well, and once again, it comes down to the undergarment you're wearing, and you could get some kind of heated undergarment if you wanted to go really hardcore. You would do that
Sure.
too.
In fact, it was funny. I saw one of the other cave instructors there, and his student was in a 3 mil wetsuit, and the instructor was in a dry suit with a heated vest. So,
Right. Yeah.
better living through chemistry or whatever, through physics, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they make them where you can wear them under a wetsuit too. I have one of those. It's pretty old, and that's what I think I was talking to you about it, Vinny, when we were talking about the Galapagos this week during the week.
Yeah, mine's brand new, and I never used it. I'm wondering, but it's 4 or 5 years old now. I wonder if it'll still work.
What heated rash guard or?
Yeah, I bought the same model brand you had.
Okay, right.
Thermo, whatever.
The Thermolution?
Yeah.
Thermolution, yeah, and I've never used it, but NiCad's batteries, I think they go bad after a certain amount. I never charged them. It's brand new in the box still. I never used it.
It'd
But I haven't-
probably be okay.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
They last a couple hours. They used to have a wired way of turning them on and adjust the heat. Now it's a wireless transmitter.
Yeah, I have that option on mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wireless. It's wireless. That'd be nice. Yeah.
I mean, it can be. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the next step up is one called there's one from Venture that's kind of the classic one like people use in the Great Lakes and so forth. It's got really big battery packs and very, very warm.
Yeah.
And then Santee has an actually a full length undergarment where the whole thing is heated. But that's obviously getting pretty expensive.
Yeah, but and when that you wouldn't wear that in under a wetsuit. That'd be a dry suit.
No, those would be dry
Yeah.
suits. But the Thermolution works under wetsuit or dry suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I guess I'm a little. Maybe I could look into that again because I haven't. I mean, the one I have is it's like 10 years old.
There's a way to test it. You can do it in a bathtub, and that's what I need to do before I go on that trip. If we go to Galapagos, I'm definitely going to test it.
Right.
Ahead
So
of time,
you'll turn it on, jump in the bathtub. If you electrocute
Well, you don't want to
yourself,
heat it up
that
out
means
of
it's not
water. So
working.
they say test it in a bathtub to see if it
heats up.
Yeah. Well, okay. We could see if Vinny lives through that and decide where to go from there.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm if I feel, I don't know, I am a little conflicted on that because if I will say when I dove in California and it was in the 60s underwater and I had the heated rash guard under like a 5 mil, I did fine. I was good, and maybe that'd be good enough for doing something like that for the Galapagos. Maybe I'd do that instead of the dry suit thing.
Well, I'm thinking like maybe a 5 or a 7 mil with a suit liner, with a full, you can buy those liners that you put, like you can buy a liner that goes in your chute, a full liner, and then you put your full suit over that.
Right.
And then have the thermolation vest. I think that should cover. I think that would cover it.
Yeah, like a lycra skin, and then wear
but a
heated
really
rash
good
guard.
quality. They make some really good quality ones now.
Okay,
Really
all
good
right.
quality
Well,
ones.
you know what? We'll ask the experts. These guys diving by the ice hole in Iowa. That's coming up next on the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Bula, welcome to Fiji. Welcome to life.
Welcome to paradise.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We're going about as far away from Fiji as you possibly can, and that would be Iowa, and the dead of winter. We got Rich Thomas on Scuba Radio right now from Independent Scuba there at the 7th Annual Ice Hole Festival. Rich, how you doing, buddy? Welcome.
Oh, hello. Yeah, we're having some fun up here.
Are you? Now, are you all decked out in heated dry suits, or what are you wearing first off to dive these ice holes?
Everybody's in dry suits for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty chilly.
Right.
Today it's unseasonably warm, actually. It's probably right above freezing.
Right above freezing. Oh, okay. So you picked a good day to dive an ice hole. And I got to be very careful how I keep saying this, but I love the title of this thing. 7th annual. You've been doing this, and how many divers you get in the water at this lake? What do you do exactly?
Well, this is going to be probably our biggest year. We've got 65 divers with the fun divers all together.
Yeah. So you just open up a hole in the ice, or several, I guess, and then you teach people how to dive it properly. And are they just diving around in the lake after they jump in, or I've seen things where people do like underwater hockey games and all kinds of nutty stuff. Are you doing any of that kind of stuff, or just letting them go play?
Yeah, we have a little fun.
Yeah?
The more comfortable you get, the more adventurous you get.
Right.
The first dive, the tunnel vision is just really trying to keep your buoyancy and maintain, you're on a line.
Yeah.
It keeps you within 100 feet of the hole.
Okay.
And you're using pulling signals to speak with the tender.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
that's just a handful. But
Yeah.
as you get more comfortable, the first thing people like doing is getting on their feet upside down and filling their BCD or their dry suit with air, and you can walk around upside down, which is a lot of fun.
I would imagine that's just kind of an experience you have to do because it's unique to that type of diving, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, do all the divers, do they enjoy this as much as they would, say going to a place like Fiji? Or do they think of a place like Fiji while they're down there and chilling out a little bit, if you know what I mean?
Well, we always ask why we do it, but it's funny. People keep coming back. Everybody comes for the bucket list.
Right.
It's really extreme diving. It takes a lot of teamwork, and I think the bonding that takes place, the type of divers that come to do this, they enjoy it so much they want to come back and do it again.
Right. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's taken off on you over the last few years, and you're doing that many people that want to get out there and do this. I mean, it does sound fun. I've seen the videos and stuff. It looks like everybody's having a great time, and that's what diving's all about, right?
That's it, getting together and sharing the experience.
Yeah. Now, are you guys, do you look at people like, if we were to come out there and join you for an event like this, and we had like a heated undergarment, would you call us a wuss for doing that? Is that kind of frowned upon, or do you encourage that kind of thing? No?
No, I encourage whatever you can do to be comfortable is important.
Yeah. Okay.
So we work pretty closely with Fourth Element. They're one of our title sponsors, and they bring a lot of stuff out and have introduced some interesting undergarments and glove systems, and we've got some other guys that have some of the heated systems. We have people trying out some of the even socks and gloves now.
Yeah.
So
now, are people actually doing any wetsuit diving on this, like polar bear challenge kind of stuff, or no?
This year we don't have anybody, but usually we have 3 or 4 people that'll do a semi-dry and at least for a fun dive or two.
Yeah, but then after you don't have. All right, who wants to jump in naked and just mark that one off the list too? That doesn't happen. Unless there's been some drinking going on after the diving is done.
After the diving is done, they've actually got some pretty good breweries up here.
Right.
And, they like divers because we appreciate good craft beer. So.
Right. Absolutely. They drink like fish. Yeah. What about the critters there at the lake that you guys do this? Are there a bunch of like, I don't know, bass and stuff, or what do they got in the lake to look at in that regard? Much?
Yeah, there are quite a few fish up here, and I don't know all the local fish. I'm from Texas, so I'm not familiar with everything. But there's some pretty good sized fish up here, and right next to our camp, if you saw it here, we've got 3 holes cut with divers, and each of them real busy. You look over, and about 200 yards from us, there's a whole group of people sitting on chairs, fishing in little small ice holes.
Nice.
So.
Do the divers go over there and like, hey, he's almost got one? But I assume you separate everybody, right?
We threatened to come over there. Now they come over and ask us how many fish we're seeing and things like that. The fishermen, we get a lot of fishermen that come over and ask us questions, and they're interested in what it's like under the ice also.
Yeah, but they're looking at you like you're crazy, aren't they?
Surprisingly, everybody's pretty accepting of us coming out here and diving. None of us have, flat out told us we're crazy.
Yeah.
But
then again,
are pretty crazy.
Then again, they're sitting out on the ice and fishing through a tiny hole. So they got their own issues, maybe. So maybe they're not willing to throw stones. But I'll tell you what, Rich, I think it's awesome what you're doing. Even in the worst conditions, you can have a great time diving. It's definitely a bucket list thing I think most divers listening right now can relate to. And that includes me, and I consider myself a warm water wuss. It sounds like you might be one too if you're from Texas. Is that a fair assumption or no? Yeah?
Yeah, the first time we came up here, I met a little man from Minnesota, and it was terrible weather, and I was complaining about the weather, and he just looked at me and said, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just bad clothing. And so I try to take that to heart and get the right gear, and we have a really good time.
Well, I love it. Well, keep up the good work and enjoy your ice hole.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he didn't know how to respond to that, did he? Independent Scuba, look him up online.
Year, so.
Yeah, and just
everybody's interested.
Yeah, it's going on this weekend, and of course you'll do it again next year. So just look up Ice Hole Challenge you can Google it and find it like right there. And make sure you spell it properly.
Festival, right.
ISOL Festival, yes.
ISOL Festival.
You got to say it properly and type it properly. Otherwise, it's going to pull up some pretty obnoxious stuff that could scar you for life. But, Rich, appreciate the time. You get back to it, and thanks for the update.
Yeah, well, thanks for talking with us. We'll see you soon.
There you go. All right. Rich there, Independent Scuba Ice Hole Festival in Iowa going on this weekend. How about that? Did that make you want to go, CJ?
I think I might be like Dr. Doug. I'd do it once just to say I did it.
I don't know.
And I don't know how much I'd be back.
I think it's one of them things. It sounds like it's catching on up there. If it's growing,
maybe once a year at most.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably turning into an annual pilgrimage.
But I do love my warm water.
Yeah, but how do you? Wouldn't you like to dive an ice hole?
Like I said, yeah, maybe once.
Maybe once. Well, once you dive an ice hole, you might want to keep going back again and again and again.
Never know.
You never know.
Doug didn't.
Well, that's Doug. We're talking about people like Jerry, the diver
and
guy.
He's a little more adventurous than even I am. So.
Yeah. Vinny, 2 tanks. Yeah. After that, I think Vinny would even give it a try. Wouldn't you, Vinny? Didn't we sell it pretty good there?
He's got a dry suit, doesn't he?
Well, no, he has a heated rash guard.
You know what? I've always felt that when you were doing a sport, it should be fun.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like they're having a great time, though.
But anytime I'm uncomfortable, like being too cold.
Does it depend on whose ice hole it is, Vinny?
I'm not really looking forward. I'm not looking forward to it. No.
Okay. All right, we're out of time for this hour.
Go to commercial.
Just in the nick of time.
Taste.
Yes. Okay. Oh, brother. Hour 2 is on deck. We got much, much more coming up on the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Stay close.
Jacques Cousteau, they all love Scuba Radio. On the boat or down below, if you want to stay in the know. If you be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio. Let's go! Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio.
This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters? Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.
Hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that Scuba Radio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for Scuba Radio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome to Hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me.
What shenanigans are we going to get into this hour?
Well, we're going to check in with Jim Elliott from Dive Hard here in just a bit. We're going to connect with him. They got a new project underway, which looks pretty interesting. It's like some new facility they're building. So we'll get the lowdown on that. Also, it happens to be it's the Super Bowl weekend, right? So we got to get back to talking about the Super Bowl of dive destinations. Mentioned the Galapagos, Hour 1.
Okinawa.
And we got that. Also, I do got to get out there. We've been promoting the Eye Care Trash Derby that's going on in the Florida Keys May 3rd and 4th, where you can dive in the Florida Keys for free.
Hell yeah.
All you got to do is go to eyecaretrashderby.com, sign up. The slots are going fast, but they literally had started with like 600 free dive spots to give away on boats up and down the Florida Keys for that weekend.
Do I need to go and sign up, or are we good if I go with you?
No, you think going with me is going to save you?
I didn't know if you had something set up and you already had, some spots.
No, there's we haven't made our plan specifically for the Derby yet. So yeah, you might want to sign up, or we'll come up with a plan. There's many ways you can do this. You can do it with one of the dive charters. That's the cool thing, because it's free if you participate, and you just you basically do a free dive, and if you see some trash, pick it up and bring it back up to the dive boat. Right? You can do it on a private boat. You could do some land-based, litter collection type stuff around the dock or wherever you happen to be in the Florida Keys that weekend. It's a cool thing, and it'll culminate on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, in the park there, and Key. I think it's Key Largo.
And it'll be nice and warm by then too.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a big party, bands, music, prizes,
there,
all kinds of good stuff.
I wish it was tomorrow.
Yeah, but once again, it's Eye Care. Trashderby.com is the website to go to for all the information and to sign up for those charter boat slots.
What kind of do I need a special clip or something so I can clip the trash bag onto my BC so I don't have to hang on to it?
No, they'll have options for you. I mean, they'll come up with.
I'm all about the clips.
I mean, if you want to, but you could just run into a dive shop.
I'm going to get
have some of that
couple
stuff
extra clips
available for everybody. There's no question about it. They will. They'll have things, handy, so you can be properly outfitted to collect trash.
I don't want to depend on them. I'm going to get there and be prepared.
You want to be prepared. A good diver is always prepared.
Right on.
Yeah. So once again, that'll be beginning of May. 3rd and 4th is trash collection dive days.
Let me know. I want to go do that.
And then Saturday, the big party. We're going to be down there doing some stuff for sure. We might actually do some of the History of Diving Museum as well while we're down there.
They've always got new stuff every time we go.
Well, they got old stuff.
Well, new old stuff.
Yeah, but then
new exhibits.
I've been talking to Lisa about going down there right around the Trash Derby, about possibly going down and diving a Mark 5 helmet.
Ooh, that'd be
cool.
How
about that? Would you rather do that or dive in?
I'd like to watch you do it.
What, you wouldn't want to do that?
I don't know about that. It looks heavy.
Well, I'm sure it is, but it's an experience. It's like diving in an ice hole.
Do a bunch of workouts and build my neck muscles up?
No. I mean, but it's one of those bucket list kind of things that you do just like an ice hole. As a diver. I've always wanted to do that. Who hasn't wanted to be the Scooby-Doo monster? The ghost. Zoinks. Yeah, so it could happen. We're working on that, and you'll hear more about it in the coming weeks. All right, well, look, Jim Elliott and, your partner in crime is with us from diveheart.org. Jim, welcome. How are you, buddy?
Good. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, we got you. Yeah, who do you have with you there?
This is Dive Hard Executive Director Tina Marie Hernandez.
Ah, yes, Tina. Sorry, I didn't have your name in front of me, Tina. I apologize for that. But welcome to the big show. So you guys have a pretty good, a huge project going on right now. So I guess, Jim, tell us the big picture. What is this exactly, first off?
Well, I've been teaching people with disabilities for 27 years, and 23 years we've been a nonprofit, and we've been helping children and vets and others with disabilities through scuba therapy and adaptive scuba. And we've seen things happen, and we immediately knew this was kind of therapeutic and reached out to university medical centers all over the country. And now we've gotten to a point where Mayo Clinic has invited us twice to present at their conferences.
Right.
And we just said, we need to build a facility where we can replicate the deep warm water benefits that we see going to Cozumel or going to Florida. So kind of for the last 10 years, really, we've been chasing this and thinking we were going to do a 40-foot pool. And then Hopkins said, hey, Jim, if you go to 66 feet, there's an extra output of serotonin, which helps with pain management and anxiety. So PTSD symptoms are alleviated and chronic pain is alleviated for a while. And so we said, if we're going to go to 66, why don't we go to 130?
Wow.
Now, this is before Y40 was built.
Yeah.
And then so Y40 came, and that's 137 feet.
Is that the one in Dubai, or where is that? What is that?
No, that's in Italy.
That's in Italy. Okay, gotcha.
The one in Dubai is almost 200 feet deep.
Okay, gotcha.
So now people say, how deep do you want to make your warm water therapy pool? And we go, it really depends on the money.
Sure. More money, the deeper you go.
If we could beat Dubai, we would love it.
Yes.
We would love it.
Well, still, that would be quite a facility. And once again, Dive Hard does great work taking folks with disabilities, or whether it's war issues, military guys, or just people that have physical challenges, take them underwater and give them a new outlook on life, that they can do some stuff that they never thought they could do. And it really changes them mentally, not to mention, it's an equalizer when we go down underwater and we have that weightlessness. Now, Maria, what about managing something like this? Is that going to be your role once this thing gets underway, or what's the deal exactly?
Jim's role is to get the money.
Yeah.
My role is to make Dive Heart still function as Dive Heart as we know it today.
Gotcha.
While we're on this campaign, as well as help with some of the activities of fundraising as well.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, you got to keep the ball rolling on several fronts, and keep the divers in the water. So this this program, or this plan of creating this deep pool is going to be in the Chicagoland area. That's the idea, Jim, or what?
Yeah, North Chicago is the target. We have a couple of different pieces of land that have been offered to us, donated to us, and we're choosing which one, and we can't divulge exactly which one yet.
Yeah.
But we can tell you that our architects are very ambitious, and they want to build this facility to be a net zero, which means off the power grid. And if I can show you an image, this is the I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can see it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
It's one of the renderers. And then
nice.
this
it looks
side,
like the Apple campus in Cupertino. It's pretty high tech looking. Yeah.
Well, this also shows you how it telescopes down, and unlike Dubai and Italy and stuff, we've secured 2 patents on this design, and our lawyers encouraged us to do that like 6 years ago. And we said, okay. And all of a sudden we have these patents. We're like, well, now let's really put the pedal to the metal.
All of a sudden, 6 years later.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Exactly. Yeah, this has been a project's been in the works for some time, but he really started talking about it heavy at the DEMA show. All right, we're going to talk with Jim and Maria more next on the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Pretty cool stuff.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer, and Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Taric is the best, most intuitive, and reliable wristwatch-sized dive computer on the market. Check it out in the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater, dive computers for demanding divers.
How, when, and where it's made has never been more important than now. Just ask all those divers and dive shops that struggled to get products and parts during the pandemic. One relatively new gear manufacturer, however, managed quite well. Nex is one of the few, if not only, dive gear manufacturers to bring regulator and design assembly back to the USA. No shortages during the pandemic for their customers and dealers. And get this, Nex was a Tester's Choice winner in Scuba Lab for 2022 and a Best Buy in 2023. Each Nex regulator system is made to order, cutting down on overhead and allowing you to get exactly what you need for the kind of diving you prefer. This will be the last regulator you'll ever need, since the modular design can easily be modified as your diving skills and preferences evolve over time. Are you ready to make your next dive your best dive? Then go to nexdive.com. That's nexdive.com. Nex Underwater Products. nexdive.com.
Scuba action star Mike Scott is back in a new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From author Eric Douglas comes the one that started it all. Listen as Mike deals with submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface.
Download Cayman Cowboys or Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, and audible.com.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Hi, I'm Captain Slate from Captain Slate's Atlantis Dive Center in Florida, and you're listening to my good buddy and dive pal, Greg the Dive Master, from the world's first radio show devoted to diving, Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. I love it.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Yeah, actually, Captain Slate got an award this week down in the Florida Keys. It was a Rotary thing? What was it?
I think so, yeah.
It was like a local recognition for all the good work he does, even outside the dive community, but for putting the Florida Keys on the map and doing all the promotions. And he's very involved in local government issues and, neighborhoods and things down there to make the Keys better for the folks that live there. We might check in with him. If we don't get him in this week, we'll definitely talk to him next week. The Dive God, both are planning to be at the Beneath the Sea Dive Show in Sea Caucus, New Jersey there at the end of March. We'll be up there. We're working on some big prizes, by the way.
It's coming up. It's next month already.
It is. It's going to be here before we know it. I mean, we're just a little over a month away. And, we'll be up there in Sea Caucus opening the show as we always do. And let's see, Explore Ventures has a Turks and Caicos liveaboard trip in the silent auction that you can bid on and probably save a few bucks and support, some of the good causes that they do there at Beneath the Sea. And then we are going to get, it looks like, we're going to have some big prizes to give away for people who show up at 9 a.m. or definitely Saturday morning to open the show.
That's a good strategy.
If you are going to be at the Beneath the Sea show, I encourage you. I warn you, if you show up late, you're going to miss out. Our friends at Next Dive that have these regulators and the Night Diver BC thing that I got. It's just incredible dive gear. I think we're going to get an entire set of gear to give away.
I see some of it sitting over here.
Oh, that's mine. That ain't yours, buddy. Don't even look at it.
I'm not.
No, we're going to get
looking.
But we're going to get a full set, it looks like, to give away at Beneath the Sea. I mean, it's like $3,000 worth of stuff just with that. And then we're working on some other things, too. So we are planning to pull out the stops for everybody who shows up to Beneath the Sea a little bit early or just on time. Don't be late. It opens at 9 a.m. Eastern time there Saturday morning in Sea Caucus, the dive capital center of the universe that weekend. Are you going to go?
Maybe. I might.
There might be an appearance by Cock Johnson.
I might have to book a flight.
If not, definitely Jerry the Diver Guy. So there you go. All right. Well, we got Jim Elliott from DiveHeart. DiveHeart.org, by the way, is the website you can go to and learn about this fine organization. It does great work taking people with challenges underwater and leveling the playing field and just giving them something to kind of, get them back on track mentally for sure, and physically for that matter. And you got this new program or effort to build this pool, this deep pool, somewhere around the Chicagoland area. And you're fundraising right now. How far along are you at this point, Jim? Do you got like a date or anything or deadlines already, or are you too early in the process? What do you think?
Well, we actually are doing launch Thursday. So anybody in the Chicagoland area that would like to come to our event, please definitely send something to info@DiveHard. Look on our social media posts, because you can go right to the link and be part of the event. And it's funny, you mentioned Rotarians and you mentioned Slate. 23 years ago, we started bringing our adaptive divers from Shriners Children's Hospital down to this place. And then Eric Douglas helped us develop our training materials.
Right. Hey, we know him. We know all these people. Yeah, of course.
I know. It's a small world, right?
We're celebrating 10 years as a training agency this February.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like I said, you guys been doing great work for years, for sure. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. But yeah, I mean, everybody can get behind an effort like this, and you love seeing this type of activity. But what? So the official kickoff is this Thursday. Is that what you were saying for this event?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be more than just the deep pool. The facility we're building is going to have multiple pools. It's going to have a starter pool, a therapy pool, and the deep pool as well. And so we're really excited. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Right. Now, but I assume it's going to take some time to get all this funding in place. You got the designs ready to go, and you just got to get the finances, in check, in order, and it'll take a little while. But hey, get on board now. And then once it is actually built, I mean, I know everybody's thinking this is a great effort for folks with challenges, but CJ was even asking me during the commercial break, hey, can divers get in on this? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be quite a draw on many levels. I would imagine that'll be the case, right, Jim?
Yeah, there's probably 100 revenue streams. We've had people at DEMA who said, Jim, if you go below 130 feet, commercial divers will come.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities, but there's water safety revenue streams. There's all sorts of, firefighters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the starter pool, it's going to be a warm pool. It's not a lap pool.
Yeah.
It's going to be people who have disabilities have thermoregulation issues, so that you can't put them in an 80-degree pool.
Right.
They have to be a 90-something degree pool.
Nice.
Otherwise, they're going to become hypothermic in like 10 minutes. So yeah, it'll be open for divers, and it'll be a warm, clear, deep environment where people can safely train. And if you're going to go to 130 feet, you don't have to do it in Lake Michigan and be in zero viz and cold water.
Well, you do both. You get in that, and then you can do an ice hole dive like we were talking about earlier. And then you can jump in the tank and really enjoy yourself, or warm up if nothing else, maybe. But yeah, it sounds like quite an attraction for sure. What do you think, Maria?
Yeah, leave your wetsuit at home type of pool.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of folks in that area of the country would appreciate that. Pretty much year round.
I'm
I
in.
think. Yeah, and it sounds exciting, and once again, good work too. And if you want to participate or learn more, go to diveheart.org. Support the organization. Well, are you guys going to be up at Beneath the Sea in Jersey too? Always.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jim's always out. He's pretty much at every show that I know.
We're doing a cool thing too. You know how we recycle wetsuits and we make them into coasters and yoga mats. And
right.
Come out of landfills. Well, Lava Rubber in New Jersey, right near Beneath the Sea, is a partner, and now Scuba.com has come on, and now they have displays at their stores in New York and Southern California where they're collecting wetsuits, shipping it to Lava Rubber, and they're turning it into all the things that we use to raise funds to help adaptive divers.
There you go. DiveHeart swag made out of recycled wetsuit stuff. That's a good use of some of that stuff for sure. I love it. Well, Jim, Maria, thanks for being on Scuba Radio. We appreciate it. Wish you all the luck in the world. Look forward to seeing you up in Sea Caucus at the Beneath the Sea Dive Show as well. Okay?
Thanks. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. So once again, diveheart.org. Go there, check them out, and plan accordingly. Support them as you should. And who knows? Maybe we'll be diving the DiveHeart attraction with some of our friends around the world in the coming years. Good stuff. More coming up. Stay close to the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, no, Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of ScubaRadio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures ScubaRadio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
It was interesting scuba diving. I remember the first fish I saw. I could have sworn he took a double take at me like, what the
Bigger than you ever did, going everywhere you never been. All we do is dive in it.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master on the Super Bowl weekend. I didn't really go around the crew today to find out how, if they agreed with me as far as the Super Bowl of dive destinations. I put at the top the Galapagos. I put Dominica in there. Well, what do you got? You throw in CJ?
For me personally, I would leave Galapagos out of mine
because you haven't been. You haven't seen it
because of the coldness.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that ought to tell you something.
For
if
me,
I rank it,
that can't be one of the best if it's cold.
Well, here's the thing.
My criteria, I get to pick.
No, it's not your criteria. It's the Super Bowl
I said
of dive destinations.
Me personally.
Well, because you haven't been.
No, not because I haven't been, because it's cold.
No, that's what I'm telling you. I would have agreed with you until I went. And then when I saw what I saw, which was killer whales, sharks, whale sharks, penguins, iguanas. I mean, just every animal on the planet that you could imagine. I saw.
Oh, that's where you saw the killer whales?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that story.
And yes, I was cold. I was miserable temperature-wise. And it wasn't a pleasant experience in that regard. I was very, very blown away by what I saw and just shocked that I was able to see all this stuff. So I was like, I want to go again and just prepare better next time. So that's why I put it at the top. But, of course, yes, I am a warm water wuss, and I prefer warm water. And actually, I will tell you, that same year I went to the Galapagos. Shortly thereafter, I went to the Maldives, and the water was quite warm.
That looks amazing.
And we did have quite the encounters with whale sharks and all kinds of different critters on that trip too. And it was warm, so it made it much more pleasant.
I would put the Maldives on my bucket list.
Yeah, but it wasn't as dense. As far as you'd see more of the same throughout the week, but not as much of it.
Yeah.
You saw some of the same type of critters, but Galapagos is on another level, and that's why the cold water. Sure.
Are they all ripping currents, or was some of them chill?
No, some. I mean, and even current is not bad if you're drifting. There's nothing wrong with.
Well, you were telling me about
current.
the one called the washing machine. That sounded insane.
Well, it was.
Like flip you upside down and stuff.
Well, it only flips you around if you hold on to a stationary object. So how they do that dive as you drift, it's like any drift dive,
Okay,
say
so you're
off of
just
like
going along. Okay.
yeah, West Palm Beach. You jump off the boat and you drift with the current, and it's about the easiest type of diving you can do. You don't
so
have to
would
kick.
you recommend a dry suit for that, or could you get away with
well,
real thick wetsuit?
Well, with a heated rash guard, I would say is a possibility. Maybe that'd be something to consider too. But the dry suit might be.
So how does this work? Do we have like a bracket system? Is there playoffs? Do you have different? You're pitting dive sites against each other for the Super Bowl? Or
I'm just saying
we're
overall,
just throwing them out.
I got to put just because of my experience in the Galapagos, what I saw, how I know it is from personal experience. Nothing's really come quite to that level.
So you're
now
just mentioning one and calling that the champion.
Well, the Super Bowl of dive destinations.
Right, but a Super Bowl is two teams, the top two going against each other.
Yeah.
Like a sporting contest.
Okay. Then I would have to say the odds are way, way higher for the Galapagos, just for that one reason.
What would you put up against the Galapagos? Just to keep it sporting.
I really like Dominica. I mean, that's always been at the top of my list. Just because,
cool.
but that, honestly, it's more of
Better
the
than
whole
the Maldives?
experience. It's so tough.
Make an assessment.
Yeah, right. It
More
kind
than
of
Fiji.
It kind of depends on the trip. Like I've been to the Maldives like 3 different times, and I've had one trip that was phenomenal, and they've all been great. None of them have been, they've been right up there, top 10s. But
what?
But Jerry mentioned Fiji.
Yeah, he did.
And Fiji's right up there too.
Fiji
so
was awesome.
It kind of depends on the specific trip. I'd have to think about, where I visited. And, when you get into a place like Fiji, and this kind of applies to Dominica too, I have a tendency to mix up the topside attractions. It's not just all diving. Now, Galapagos is mostly underwater, but, topside, there's wildlife all around you. So you're kind of just engulfed in, it's like stepping into a Discovery Channel wild, TV show or something. It's nuts when you go to the Galapagos. It's just another level. I don't know if it's just because it's so remote and stuff, but it's just so much going on around you. It's almost hard to absorb it all. It's really at a whole nother level. Now, when you go to Fiji, one of the big, draws of Fiji is that the people you meet and how the village folk you meet welcome you into their homes, and you meet just some of the coolest people on the planet. And you're like, people are so happy, so gracious. And, you just have this cultural, you have this cultural exchange with them that takes it to another level. Yeah. Vinny, what?
Don't they allow shark diving there?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
They got some big shark dives in Fiji.
That and the Bahamas are the 2 greatest. In fact, I think Bahamas brings in more $80 million a year.
Well, at least probably more than that. For sharks.
I want to go to Fiji because that's the only other place where they have sharks you could see.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You can see sharks all over, but yeah,
but those places are healthy. There's a lot of
North
sharks.
Carolina.
You'll see a lot.
Well, you got that, sure. But sharks. Sharks, the number one thing you want to see, probably it is the Bahamas. Outside of great whites, they got that market cornered pretty good.
Well, I will recommend Philippines and Indonesia, places like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're all great.
You put it up there on the list. Yeah, the Super Bowl of dive
Australia,
destinations.
There's the Barrier Reef.
Yep.
Come on. Then there's big reefs off South Africa.
Oh, gee.
Colder.
You're supposed to narrow it down to one, Vinny. You're making it impossible.
You can't leave out Truck Lagoon.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess not.
Which is where?
In the South Pacific.
In Truck.
Yeah. I dove a World War II wreck when I was in the Philippines.
And that's the one that's spelled.
The wreck
how do you spell Truck
world.
Lagoon, by the way, Vinny?
Truck.
You think?
Truk.
You think?
I think it's just the K.
I thought it was CH.
No, that's Chuck.
Trutch.
Well, that's the. I thought that was the same thing. It's not. Chuck and Truck are the same.
2 different places.
But don't they say it Truck? I thought they pronounced Chuck like
two
truck.
Different places.
Okay. All right, if you say so. But I thought someone told me that they pronounce it the same way, even though it's spelled C-H-U-K. Is that not right?
Nope.
Okay. Jerry has spoken. Do we trust the hillbilly?
I do.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
I think I've seen it written T-R-U-K.
Yeah, I have too. But I've also seen it.
No, I'm messing with you. It's actually, they do it both ways.
Aha!
But it is actually C-H-U-U-K.
Uh-huh. There you go. In your face.
I didn't really want to agree with
Oh,
you.
now I'm confused. It sounds
How
French.
dare you question my authority?
Sounds French, like Truchet.
Well, that's what I say. See, learning has occurred.
It's
I'm confused.
Shared my
now.
knowledge with you and the world. I thought I was right, but
it used
I wasn't
to be.
absolutely
It
positive.
used to be spelled T-R-U-K,
Well, that's how. Yeah, I mean that's how the tourist.
but
I think
it's
do it.
C-H-U-U-K
Right.
now.
Well, now you know. And now don't be that guy like Jerry.
No, no, I do. I just
Trying to
didn't wanna
educate
agree.
our divers around the world. There you go. More coming up. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Hey, man. Hey, what are you doing today? I don't know. I was kind of bored. Do you want to do something cool? Well, like what? We could go scuba dive. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. I've never done it before. Well, there's only a few things that you got to do to be good at it, and it's really easy to learn. Here, I'll show you. Come with me.
Okay, everyone, let's get our gear on. Let's go for a dive. Tanks are right here.
Now, to be a scuba diver, it can be so much fun. Making memories and sharing good times in the sun. Descend with the quickness, equalize so you don't pop. To avoid decompression sickness, always make a safety stop. You know, gonna be a scuba diver. Gonna be an underwater survivor. I'm gonna be a scuba diver.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ in the studio with me. You know, Super Bowl weekend. And we've been talking about the Super Bowl of dive destinations. I mean, it's... I don't know what Taylor Swift would say.
Please, God.
About it, but she, you know, chances are she'll come in and ruin it for all of us.
Yeah,
And
well,
if not,
she is the Super Bowl, so
Vinny will
or
throw
the
in
Taylor Bowl.
too many options. We'll never narrow it down.
No, I like talking
She's
about
probably
it.
a diver.
You think?
Why not when you got that kind of money?
Right. She has no excuse not to be. I actually might like her if I knew she was a scuba diver.
You know,
so if she has her mission, if she chooses to accept it and share that with the world. Make a difference. Make a difference, Taylor. Use your influence for good, for the good of diving.
Use your money to finish Dive Heart's facility.
Okay. Well, there's that. You do that. But, you know, when it comes to the Super Bowl of dive destinations, I guess it depends on different criteria. Like, you know, are you looking for a particular critter to dive with? You know, if it's sharks, it might be the Bahamas. If it's whale sharks, it might be, I don't know, Isla Mujeres there off of Mexico, over there by Cozumel.
Yeah, that's a place.
Yeah, there's a time of year that they congregate in that part of the world.
The Island of Women.
What about that whale dive that
yeah.
Explorer Venture has off of Dominican Republic?
Well, that's right. They have about a month out of the year, Dominican Republic, where you can go
I'd
see
like
the
to get on that
humpbacks.
trip. I hear it's hard to get on.
Well, it costs money. That's all. Yeah, I mean, you can get them.
I heard it's booked. I hear it's fully booked, so you got to jump on it to get a spot. right here.
It is. It sells out every year, right? But there might be a spot here or there, Vinny. You could hop on one of those.
Yeah.
I mean that one. The only unique thing about that is that it's not really diving; it's snorkeling all week.
Yeah, but that's
No,
fun.
you definitely want to do it.
Seeing whale shark. I mean, that's the way you have to do it. That's the way you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's not whale sharks; it's humpback whales.
I'm a great snorkeler. I like it actually.
Right.
It's fun.
But once again, it's humpback whales, not whale sharks. Totally different species.
I get it, but you're seeing sharks up close. I mean, whales.
said
You're
humpback
talking about
whales.
whales there. And that was one spot that you forgot.
Whale. They are big ass animals.
Whale.
Yeah. And if you're lucky, you'll find some ambergris floating on the surface.
You won't run into a tsunami.
That's whale vomit, which you
What's
can
an
turn around.
ambergris?
Ambergris, I think is how you say it. I'm not. I could be pronouncing
Sounds
it.
like you're saying
it?
hamburger in Spanish.
No.
Hamburguesa.
Ambergris. Yeah. No,
Hamburguesa.
but
Was it a
they
floating
use
island or
this.
something?
No, it's literally whale vomit, and they use it.
Why
to
would
make,
you want that, Greg?
They use it to make perfume.
What's wrong with you?
It's like priceless.
Gross.
Like
I know.
$100,000 a pound. or something?
Google it. I'm telling you, it's
I
insane.
don't want any part of that.
If you find it,
It's probably a
worth
special oil in the
thousands
fish
of
Poor
that-
Vinny would
dollars.
be snorkeling up there, and he comes up to the surface and right through some whale yak.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, it
It
might
is
pay for your
possible.
trip. Might pay for your trip if you can
Disgusting.
figure out a way to flip it. I think they, they
Pretty sure you need to
frown
be
on
like a
selling it
chemist
around the world.
to process it.
I don't know.
You don't
Here.
just take this stuff and
Just
throw it in
rub
a
off a
bottle.
little piece and rub it behind your ears.
yeah, that's how it works.
Girls go crazy.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Won't smell like fish at all.
Yeah, I think that's how they make Old Spice. I don't know. Just saying. You have to try it. Something to do.
What
I've never
an
seen
ice hole.
Oh, I saw what you did there. Don't ever do that again.
Fargan bastages.
Yeah. Sure. So anyway, I don't know. We got nowhere with our Super Bowl of dive destination.
Well, there wasn't really, it wasn't really
There's
set
too
up
many
well.
variables. There's that's the problem.
We're
It's
just
like
throwing it out there.
it's like
We're in
hey,
the playoffs.
You get this question all the time from your non-diving friends. What's your favorite place to dive? Oh, jeez. It's almost
That's
impossible.
pretty easy for me.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. What is?
I would say 9 times out of 10, I would go with Bimini.
Bimini. Really?
It was
Okay.
awesome.
All right.
Warm,
Bimini.
killer viz, tons of sharks.
Yeah. All right.
But also,
Just awesome.
South Florida has great diving. I would say,
Right.
to me,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to go to South Florida.
Yeah.
I think it depends on
that's
the
good,
day,
too.
and once again, it depends on what you're talking about. As far as like the critters. You
Well,
wanna
your
dive with.
favorite that you've had
Overall
great
experience.
days, good weather, good viz.
Now, see, overall experience, just like across the board, diving, cultural exchange, and everything, I'd have to throw Fiji in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Fiji, you got big critters,
Yeah.
colorful.
The only
coral.
negative to Fiji,
wall
and it's not
diving.
their fault, is just getting there.
Well, for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Right.
part of the fun, though.
Yeah. But, for the folks like on the West Coast, like Vinny, that's really not
I
that.
would go. Yeah, I hear they have fantastic shark reef. They have very healthy shark reefs there, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
and they do
They
shark
got
feeding
everything.
there,
Yeah,
so.
we saw sharks even where you're not supposed to see necessarily sharks.
That's right. Yeah. They got it all there.
Yeah, you guys have been there. I got to go.
Yeah, I can't believe that
So-
Vinny is in California and he's never been to.
It's still a ways.
Well, it is,
Yeah,
but
but
still, that's kind of like their Bahamas.
Yeah, but I've been to the
No,
Philippines,
sure it is.
Indonesia,
It's
and I'm
Australia,
already
New
going back
Zealand's
to the
Bahamas,
Indonesia
not
again, so-
California's Bahamas.
Well, it's still. I mean,
You could call Hawaii California's Bahamas.
Hawaii?
It's a little closer.
well, maybe,
Aloha.
but it's very easy to get to Fiji from the West Coast. They make it extremely
Direct
convenient
flight.
Ain't
on
cheap though.
Fiji Airways. Well, no, actually they run great deals.
$900.
Yeah, I mean they really do. I mean, it's quite remarkable how they run their airline, and they got all new planes and all kinds of good
Oh, they're
stuff
great.
there.
They're great planes.
I know if I was in California, I'd be going to Fiji every other day because I'd want to leave there. No offense, Vinny.
Well, maybe I should go there.
I think
Definitely
you should.
But
You
you know,
definitely
now
should.
I've got two potential. I got a trip booked for Indonesia already.
Yeah.
And then with maybe
Well, see, you
Explore
shouldn't have booked
Adventures with you
Indonesia
guys,
and
so
booked
that's already
Fiji.
two.
Yeah. Well, so Indonesia, Is that land-based or liveaboard? What are you doing?
It's a land-based. It's 3 dives a day.
What do you expect to see
land-based.
there in Indonesia?
We're going to be in one of the major areas.
Right.
Don't ask me the name of it because
that's fine. But what do you expect to see? Is there a particular critter or something, or what?
You would see in Indonesia, like frog fishes.
Okay. Frogfish, you're a fan of those.
Clownfishes.
All the Indonesia
all
diving
sorts of
stuff.
There's a lot of stuff to see there. The reefs are really healthy in Indonesia and the Philippines as compared to a lot of places.
Is it
in the
warm?
world. Yeah, and it's warm.
Nice.
How long does
Not
how long
super
does it take
warm,
you to
but
fly there?
you need a 3 mil.
Yeah, but it is
How long
a
does it
challenge.
take you to-
got to go through Manila to get there, or Guam, or something, or
you have
what?
to fly. You have to connect. Yeah, of course. Everything's connection.
Yeah. All right.
How long's the flight, Vinny?
It's 16 hours.
So you could be in Fiji in 10 hours.
I know, but that's farther.
It is?
No,
it is.
you're 6 hours shorter.
Oh,
It's a
don't
10-hour
break his
flight.
brain. Look at him.
No math. I was told there would be no math.
I don't know.
Exactly. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. We're out of time anyway. All right. On that note, remember, it's always better where, gang?
Down where it's wetter. Oh, hell yeah.
Safe diving, everyone.
On the boat or down below, if you want to stay in the know. If you be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio. Let's go!
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio. This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters?
Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.